so welcome everyone to new Beyond Reality episode. And this one is really special because we are having a series of episodes at 3Dice conference, which is actually having an amazing speakers from all around the world. And today I have one of those speakers with me in the podcast studio. As you can see, we have also like a different setup, so hope you guys enjoy it. And it's Matej Kosovsky. And Matej is digital twin technical director at Pixomondo. And he actually worked on some huge movies in the past or TV series such as House of Dragons, Mandalorian, Star Trek, so on and so forth, like quite a rich portfolio of these world blockbusters. And I thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Pleasure.
It's very nice to be here at 3D Dice.
Yeah, it's amazing to have such an expert here with us. So, actually, I was really interested in your journey because you started as a self-taught 3D artist.
Yes, that's correct.
And now you are working for one of the biggest studios on such movies and series already mentioned. So, how was your journey? Can you maybe describe that?
So I'm from Slovakia originally, and I went to a multimedia high school where we covered kind of every creative suite and the kind of the basics of it. And I really like 3D, so I dived into it on my own, out of my self-interest. And I strive to be working in movies. I applied to different companies in Europe, but eventually I got in Canada, into Pixomondo. Actually, it was my first company that I worked for as an asset artist. And that's when I worked on Mandalorian and Star Trek Discovery as asset artist. So that was mainly 3D modeling and texturing for visual effects purposes. And throughout that, I then switched to a 3D scanning role, which I'm kind of involved in until today.
Wow, very cool. And when speaking of scanning, like, how do you perceive right now scans being used in production? Can you maybe describe that?
So 3D scans is basically a digital representation of a real object. So we use it a lot in movies, in productions, and especially in the last few years, it's been very involved process in every step of the production, and especially in bigger projects that need a lot more details, and you always try to be as fast as possible. It's very labor-intensive work on the artist side, so scans help us get to the correct results faster. And basically it takes away some of the guesswork that the artists have to do, because if you provide them with scanned object, like if you have a prop on set, it's usually unique, and they need to understand the dimensions, the colors, and if they have just a reference photo, which is how it was done in the past, they have to estimate what it could be to recreate it. And in that process, there is a lot of notes and corrections during the production. So if you have a scan, they can skip all that because they know exactly what it should look like. So they just have to technically refine it and make it match the original. And then there is like maybe a creative outputs that you can change a little bit.
Got it. And what do you see as like the biggest problems right now, or obstacles you need to overcome, like during such a process?
Oh, that's a good question. You can probably get 50 different answers to that, depending on who focuses on what. We are currently focusing on environments and fast recreation of environments. We are very involved in virtual production, and that involves a lot of recreating a lot of locations, a lot of environments, whether that's a real place, a set that's been built, and you try to lower the cost of the production and make it as fast as possible and look the best as possible. And that's kind of our focus right now. So we try to improve the environment capture so we can use it quickly in virtual production and have it shot ready at a lower cost.
And speaking about lower cost, like, what is your current, to say, uptake on what AI can do when it comes to, per to say, being a, I don't want to say being an alternative to scanning, but what is your kind of future vision where this could lead, or what is already maybe happening right now in your industry?
It's definitely already happening. I'm not too afraid of the AI taking over as like ruining the jobs and there will be no one working. It's just AI. You will create everything with AI. We use it very creatively. So we use it as a tool to enhance. So one person might be able to do more work using the AI tools and get to the results faster. A lot of use cases are to change a scenery or modify some of the looks. So if you are scanning a location or capturing a location, you might have a parked car there that you didn't want to have there, and it's very easy to segment it, identify it with AI, and remove that, which before would be very manual process. And if you have a lot of them, the time grows very quickly with that. If you have to have 50 cars removed one by one, it's very labor intensive, but AI can identify all of them and you can do it quite quickly. So all of these improvements we already are working on and working with and deploying on productions when we can. So that's definitely the future, and it will enhance the artist more than take over, I think.
So from your role and your position, you believe it will be more of a complementary tool in, let's say, short mid period than fully taking over?
It depends on the focus that you are in. So if you are in like short films or like student media or something like that, I think it's going to enable a lot of creators to do things that were out of the reach before and to strive for better quality. So even small productions could do very good output, like very good results in the end. It won't be just the big budget movies that can do it, but the big budget movies are still there and they will still have the same budgets or more, and there will be probably more of them. So there will be more output that needs to be done, and these tools will help the artists tackle these challenges.
I think that definitely people are ready to consume content in a very fast way, and then they are waiting for a long time to get a new, let's say, a series of House of Dragons or whatever that is. So I think, having just more content, there will be consumer base that is able to consume it. That's at least.
It's also interesting because that content is changing so much. So it's like you are used to maybe a TV show or a movie, but now there are new genres that come out that might be faster to produce, like 20-minute micro dramas or something like that. So it's all changing. And we actually, the newest thing that we are looking into is like location-based entertainments. And those are very popular now with like VR, XR, immersive museums or exhibitions like that.
Wow, that's very cool. And what because that's closer to our world. So what do you exactly do? Maybe you can mention some use case or like what you did, if that's possible.
I can't really talk about the specific projects yet, but it's a research. Correct?
Okay, research, very cool. And so, what are the other, per to say, areas that you see as a trend in your industry, if you can speak about it, like whether it's come to VFX or scanning or in general? We spoke about AI, that's for sure, but what are the other things that you see are upcoming trends?
I think automation for us, because as a data capture side, which is what I was focusing on, it's about the automation of it. So how can you do it efficiently? How can you do it within the time frame that you usually have? We on set have a lot of time restrictions. So the time if we can reduce the time, it's always beneficial for the production, because it costs a lot of money to host production on a full day, to pause a city or to block the entire bridge. It's very cost efficient, like intensive. I think that will be the main thing that we are looking into as optimization of the capturing process.
And that's mainly thanks to what? Like, thanks to
new tools coming up, and same as like Gaussian splatting, for example. it allows us to get correct results faster, and we just need to make sure that the data collection process is optimized for that, and we will get all the data that we need to get accurate results later down the line.
And if you look into, because our podcast is beyond reality, so we like to at the end speak more about like very future vision looking things. So what do you think it's gonna be in to say 30 or 50 years from now? Like, how do you see that productions might change? If you can be giving us some brave vision.
I think that there is a lot of ideas that people have. I think the biggest dream for content creations is that anyone can do their own personalized content or experience. So you might reenact some scenes from your favorite movies or something like that in your home, maybe through XR or VR. I think that will be possible. There's so many options now and areas that you can go to. The question is going to be what is going to be actually productive and what actually people want to consume and how they want to do it.
Okay. So, and regarding production itself, don't you think that there will, you will send a bunch of drones, scanning tools, and others do it by yourself?
I mean, sure. That's just another automation process for us. So you can already today do remote operations of drones or something like that. It's a little hard to imagine how far this can go because it's been moving so quickly, and especially in the last 2 years, like so much has changed. It's further than 5 years. It's very hard to predict what the environment is going to be like.
Matej, I also wanted to ask about like how you leverage scans and other technologies in the virtual production, because I think you must be like top tier of what is going on, basically setting up the trend. So if you can speak about that more.
Yeah, so Pixomondo actually was one of the leading companies with virtual production. We had our first stage open in 2020 in Toronto for Star Trek Discovery show, and we utilized scans a lot in it, especially LiDAR. So that was even more use cases there than in traditional visual effects for post-production. Because virtual production is happening before the film is completed, during the production, basically. So the assets and the environments needs to be created before the filming takes place. So we work closely with virtual art department on the client side, and we need to prepare the props to be ready at the same time as they are creating them. So we provide the scanned data of the props that is going to be used to our artists in advance. So as they are building them in the prop department, we have multiple visits to the prop department where we scan the props, and we provide that to our virtual art department, and they use that data to create the environment. So when the production comes together in virtual production, you have the physical sets from the art department inside of the volume, and then you have the digital replicas of it that is matching 1-to-1, and those are created by our team and inside of Unreal Engine, and that runs in the digital environment. So it's very hand-in-hand collaboration. And then there is supporting scans that we also do during the actual filming process, which is to make sure that the physical sets and the virtual ones are aligned correctly. And we also just LiDAR scan the whole set, so we can use it in post-production for anything that we need. So actually on virtual production, it's used heavily and much more frequent than in visual effects.
Okay. And regarding the virtual production, you said like you set up a stage in 2020. You're right now working quite heavily on that. We spoke about the automation. Do you feel like during these 5 years that you speed it up, like in a way, like the processes, or?
Yes. So it's more about the way you deploy the technology on your end. we improve the way that we capture. So the turnaround between when we scan a set and when the artists get it in Unreal is shorter and shorter. It used to be the next day. Now it's like within a few hours you can get it for the artists to work with, and that's just gonna be more automated. So we are looking into options how we can make it very unified, so that we scan the sets always in the same way, and it will be as easy, so it doesn't impact the production at all.
And maybe just for the people listening, like what are maybe your tips, what people should be following to stay up to date, and yeah, maybe if you have some.
Definitely, like, follow the trends that are popular on LinkedIn or similar platforms, and it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole on one specific thing, but it's been changing so much, especially software-based solutions. So if you learn one software, in 2 years it might not be usable anymore because there's something else that is much better. So I would try to be more generalist. So you try to cover broad ideas of at least maybe 3 segments, and then you apply and you move to the correct tool at the time.
Well, that sounds great. So thank you, Matej, for being a guest on our podcast. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think it was super interesting insights, and enjoy the conference. And hopefully we might be able to speak once again in the future and kind of recap on what we were thinking back in the days.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I hope so too. I'm curious to see what some of the prediction will come true in the future.
Yes.
As well.
Okay, I think it's a lot of things to be excited about. Thank you.
Thank you.